In the heart of Manchester Arena, beneath a haze of camera flashes, roaring chants, and the electric pulse of anticipation, two men walked toward destiny. Oleksandr Usyk, the Ukrainian maestro, the unbeaten, undisputed cruiserweight king, entered with the calm aura of a man carrying prophecy. Tony Bellew, the proud warrior from Liverpool, the people's champion, full of heart, grit, and belief, entered for one last battle, one final war before hanging up the gloves. The air wasn't simply heavy, it was alive. Fans draped in yellow and blue flags chanted Usyk, while others in English white and red bellowed Tony, Tony. It was more than a defense of titles. This was soul against skill, emotion against elegance, heart against perfection. Bellew, the underdog, believed. Usyk, the champion, remained unshaken. The arena lights dimmed. The voice of the announcer echoed like thunder. The reigning, defending, undefeated, undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, Oleksandr Usyk. And then the crowd erupted as Bellew raised his glove to the sky. Frosted breaths, focused eyes, one last stare. The bell rang, and their stories collided. The opening rounds were a chess match dressed as a fistfight. Bellew started boldly, not tentative, not afraid, but sharp, disciplined, and precise. He held his stance with purpose, picking his moments, throwing sneaky right hands, and even switching briefly to southpaw to confuse the Ukrainian master. The crowd gasped as Bellew landed a clean straight right, a punch that caught Usyk's attention. It was not a fluke. He was here to win. Bellew's timing was on point, his head movement slick, making Usyk miss by inches. Every feint from Bellew was met with curiosity from Usyk, who was calculating, downloading, adjusting. Bellew's plan was clear. Lure him, counter him, disrupt his rhythm. Usyk felt that sting, that timing, that British resolve. But even when tagged, he remained expressionless. His lips curled into a strange smile, the smile of a lion slowly awakening. Still, the early story belonged to Bellew. He was ahead on scorecards. He was ahead in belief. He wasn't just competing. He was dictating. Round after round, Bellew continued his brilliance. He boxed cleverly, refusing to be backed up for long, circling, pivoting, and making Usyk chase him. The Ukrainian, known for overwhelming pressure, was suddenly being outsmarted by a man many thought had no chance. Bellew's confidence grew with every landed right hand. The commentators were shocked. Tony Bellew was winning, hurting Usyk and messing with his rhythm. But Usyk did not panic. He wasn't built for panic. He was built for patience. He kept stepping forward, probing with his jab, testing angles, shifting his feet like a dancer, waiting for the moment when Bellew's movement would slow, even just a little. Bellew was brilliant, but his tank was burning fast. Usyk, meticulous, never rushed. Even when Bellew pulled ahead, he simply studied, learned, and smiled. For Usyk, the fight was not a sprint. It was a puzzle, and he loved puzzles. By round 4, the rhythm began to change. Usyk started finding the timing of his jab, threading it through Bellew's guard with needle-like precision. Every jab wasn't just a punch, it was a question. Bellew answered bravely, firing counters, pivoting out, refusing to let Usyk control him. But Usyk adjusted again, punching not just with speed, but with angles, coming around Bellew's guard, landing left hands that started to make the Englishman blink, not just absorb. Bellew still had his moments, landing those right-hand counters, but they were becoming fewer. Usyk's footwork kicked in like a machine igniting full power. He wasn't chasing Bellew now. He was corralling him, working the ring like an architect crafting a masterpiece. Bellew still believed, but now his breaths were deeper, his legs a little slower, his confidence still burning, but flickering. Then came the middle rounds, where champions are forged and challengers tested. Usyk's tempo elevated, his volume increased, not recklessly, but patiently, like a man who knew the end was near, but had the courtesy to announce his intentions. Bellew dug deep, throwing heavy single shots, searching for the one punch that could rewrite destiny. The crowd screamed every time he landed a right hand, but Usyk did not step back. Not once. Bellew was now using more energy defending than attacking, and Usyk was making every second count. His jab became a spear, his left hand a whip, his feet gliding, circling, trapping. Bellew was still dangerous, still willing, but Usyk was inevitable. Tony Bellew was a warrior, heart like fire, spirit like steel, but in round 7, he began to fade. Usyk noticed. He didn't rush, he sharpened. Every jab now snapped Bellew's head. The left hand began to land with more intent, and with every shot, the crowd could feel it. Something was coming. Bellew fought with everything: courage, muscle, pride, still countering, still hoping, still believing. But the tide was not just turning, it had turned. Usyk was now the surgeon, the hunter, the champion. Bellew's legs weakened, his guard looser, his reaction slower. Usyk's eyes narrowed, the smile disappeared. It was time. Round 8, the last stand. Bellew was exhausted, swollen, fighting not just Usyk, but gravity, fatigue, and fate. Yet he still dared, still threw that right hand, still tried to change his story. But Usyk, cold, calm, composed, saw the opening. He stepped in, feinted, drew the reaction, then launched a lightning-quick left cross that detonated like thunder across Bellew's jaw. Time stood still. Bellew crumpled toward the ropes, collapsing like a warrior whose spirit finally surrendered to inevitability. The crowd gasped, some in awe, some in sorrow, all in respect. The referee didn't count. He didn't need to. Bellew lay by the ropes, dazed, brave, and beaten. Not humiliated, but conquered. As medics attended Bellew, Usyk did not celebrate wildly. He simply bowed his head, a warrior acknowledging another. Bellew sat up, leaning against the ropes, eyes emotional, knowing he had given everything, and that his final fight had been worthy of his legacy. Usyk walked over, knelt beside him, spoke words only they heard. Respect, brotherhood, warrior to warrior. Bellew nodded. The announcer's voice rang through the arena. The winner by knockout, still undefeated, still the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, from Ukraine, Oleksandr Usyk. The arena exploded, but amid the cheers, there was something deeper: admiration for the genius of Usyk, for the heart of Bellew, for the beauty of boxing. Oleksandr Usyk had retained his throne. Tony Bellew had left like a legend, and that night, Manchester witnessed not just a fight, but a farewell, a masterpiece, a moment carved forever into the soul of boxing. Two champions, one truth. Skill may build a champion, but heart builds a legacy.